anything at all to get myself out of it, as I called it. And sometimes I used to wake up under hedgerows, lying in old toilets, lying under old condemned buildings, even at one time in an old cupboard, just literally enough to lie flat in, locked from the inside, and lying there, rocking back and forward, hanging onto a bottle. It made me think about the times when I was in prison, and sometimes when I used to have fights with the prison officers because of certain violent incidents. I used to be sitting in the corner rocking back and forward. It made me think about the mental hospitals for the criminally insane in the padded cell, when I used to sit rocking back and forward, trying to find some kind of comfort, but actually finding no comfort. My mind was tormented, my mind was dark, it was full of paranoia and fear, it was full of delusions of grandeur. I was totally and utterly lost. And one day, in 1979, on May the 26th, I was going up the town in that very state, and I met my own mother, and she said to me, "Son, I'm going to help you." And her and her friend got me a little room, and they paid the rent for a couple of weeks. It was up 3 stories in a building called the Kelda Cafe on the White Sands in Dumfries. It was actually a place for transport drivers to bed and breakfast, but on the 3rd landing they had 2 or 3 rooms that they hired out permanently, and my mum paid the rent for 2 or 3 weeks, and there I was sitting on the bed. And when they left me on the 26th of May, I remember looking up and saying, whatever happens, I'm either going to come out of this box with God, whatever happens, I'm either going to come out of this room with God, or else I'm going to come out of this room in a box. Because I'd made my mind up that I couldn't go on anymore with alcohol and the darkness. I'd lost everything. I'd lost everybody. I'd lost absolutely everything. And the little tiny link that I had with my mother was enough to give me a fraction of hope. And I thought to myself, if I can manage to get in touch with the Lord properly and live like a Christian should live, then maybe I can still make it in this world and be something. And on the 26th and the 27th, I was absolutely gagging for a drink. On the 28th, it turned into the DTs. I was being sick. I was sweating out cold. I was shaking, like dreadful shaking. I started to see things. I won't go into it in a big way, but anyone who's ever had DTs will understand what I mean. Someone, the most intelligent person in the whole world, can tell you that there's nothing there, but the person that's got the DTs will never believe them because they can see these things, whatever it may be. Usually it's snakes, rats, spiders or whatever. In my case, it was thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of little fleas that had big heads. It was a dreadful thing, and every one of them had razor sharp teeth. And I was lying there rocking back and forward and screaming. I was terrified to open my eyes, and somehow I must have fallen asleep. When I awoke on the 29th of May 1979, I put my window up. I was 3 stories up, remember. I looked down onto the concrete, and I thought to myself, I'm going onto that concrete. In fact, I didn't think. I was just going to do it. I was just going to head right onto the concrete. I knew that I would finish it that way. And just at that very moment I was going to do it, the memory of the Bethany Hall, the Gospel Hall, the story of Barabbas and Jesus came back to me. And I remember that man at the very end of his sermon, he said this: remember, no matter what trouble you're in, whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord will be saved. As long as you mean it, as long as you're genuine, God will save you, because He is genuine. But He also knows those who are genuine. If your cry is real, He will save you. And I walked into the middle of that little room, and I got on my knees, and this is what I said. I said, Lord, I've never done nothing good all of my whole life. I'm a liar, I'm a blasphemer, I'm a cheat, I'm a thief, I'm a fornicator, I'm a violent man, a man that does nothing but harm your creation.